as I read through the Philosopher's Secret Fire, which I'm enjoying very much, I'm filled with a kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't anxiety. To ignore the world of daemons may cost us, and yet to look at them directly, to become too familiar with them, may also cost us. So I'm curious how you, Patrick, walk that line.
Yeah, I think it's something like the William Blake's philosophy of double vision, where you hold the literal and the metaphorical in tandem and intention, that you have a double view of the world. It's something like that that you can't, as it were, merge with the daimonic world, but you can't neglect it and ignore it either. You have to keep a proper distance, a proper respectful distance between them. And all traditional cultures understand that what you do is you leave out food, you feed the daemons. But it's, of course, you leave out literal food, but it's understood that they don't eat that food. That it's the expression of, it's the intention to feed, which stands for heeding. You know, it means you're paying attention to them, but you don't want them in your house necessarily, because they can cause chaos, they cause havoc. It's that sort of idea, and I think that sort of principle applies up and down the scale of being. You know, it's not just whether or not you feed the fairies. It's the proper attitude to. It's the proper attitude to imaginative life generally, and indeed to the gods. You know, that you connect with them, but you also keep them at a distance, because we are ourselves daimonic beings. That's the trouble. We are self-transcending beings. We are double beings. We are both physical beings and also souls, you know, that we are intrinsically double. And all myths describe that, you know, all myths are really about how do we come to terms with the doubleness of the world. So many myths describe, for instance, that the fallen state of man is due to the separation of sky and earth, which once were married and lay with each other, but they were separated, and we must somehow rejoin them in a sort of divine marriage and so on. And that applies to ourselves. Somehow we have to reconcile the contradictory sides of ourselves in a kind of marriage, where both sides are retain their identity, but yet are intimately connected. So it's a kind of a paradoxical way of being close, but not too close, always recognizing that distinction. So it's a real tightrope walk that we have to undergo. And I think that's just sort of just the nature of the way in which we are these double and divided beings, which give us access to, as they used to say, part angel, part animal. You know, it's the most perplexing fact of our life, that we are not single beings like the animals, and we're not single intelligences like the angels. You know, we are this complicated twofold nature. And that's the sense in which, you know, the daemons can teach us. You know, they give us access to the other world. They can give us treasure, knowledge, enlightenment, if we approach them in the right way, but always respectfully, you know, carefully, and so on. Otherwise, we can become overwhelmed by the daemons, and another name for that is madness. You know, we can become, as it were, possessed. The daemons can take us over, which is just as dangerous as being too remote from them, where we lose them altogether and lose our souls and lose the sense of depth and vitality and beauty of the world. Does that make any sense? It's very hard for me to understand that, because it's more something that I intuit than I can articulate very well.
Yeah, works for me. Great answer.
Good. Well, thank you.
And good luck, everyone.
Cheers.